And so the third and final step of your APA paper is your reference page. And this is particularly important because you need to document and show where you found the sources and citations to support the body of your paper. For more information on specific citations that might not be a part of the tutorial, you can go to your APA Manual 6th edition for sections 6.25 and 6.27 through 6.31, where you will find a comprehensive list of all of the formats that you might come across and the proper way to document it as part of your reference page. So this slide will cover the proper citation style for print books, electronic books, and books that have an editor and not an author's name. The first template is if you are using a print book, so be mindful to include the author's name, the date of publication if it exists, the title of the work, and then the location and publisher. This should also be located on the inside page, also called the title page of the book that you are citing. You should be able to find the location, the city, and then also the publisher's name, whether it's Random House or Springer Link. You should be able to find the publishing company's name. In the case of the second and the third templates, these are for works that you find online. And so if you are citing an electronic book, you want to use a citation. That's the second citation listed on the slide, and the third one is also for an electronic work, but it also has a digital object identifier, or a DOI, and you can find this DOI number listed next to the citation of the work. And then the last citation is for a book that has an editor and not a specific author's name. In this case, you'll want to include the acronym ED in parentheses with a period after the ED and also right outside of the parentheses. So just be mindful to follow these formats whenever you are citing a print source or an electronic book source. When citing a chapter of a book or a reference book, it's important to note that if each of the entries has a specific author's name, meaning each of the entries has an author within the whole text, you have to give credit to the individual author. If you look on the slide, the first example, pregnant women who use drugs, a disenfranchised group. In this case, this specific chapter has an author's name. Rather than just cite the entire book, what APA says is that you need to cite that specific chapter. So you'll see Bowie, comma, space, B, period, H, period. That's the author's name. Then you'll list the title of the work, and then where is it found? It's found in Duchesne, ED, because it's an edited print source. And then the title of the book is Caring for the Vulnerable: Perspectives in Nursing Theory, Practice, and Research. Following the title of the whole book, which is also italicized, you'll find the page numbers, the location, and then the publisher's name. So just be mindful whenever you're citing a chapter of a book, if that particular chapter has an individual author's name, you give credit to the author, you list the title of the chapter, and then you follow up with listing the title of the whole work. In the case of the title of entry, if you're using a reference book, if there isn't an author, then you just begin your citation with the title of the entry. So in the second case, in the second box where it says dengue fever, you want to list the title of the work, and then you follow with the publication date, and then you follow with the title of the work, which is in the Encyclopedia of Infectious Diseases. In this case, this is a third edition. The entry is found in volume 1, and it's on pages 79 to 81, and it is a print source, so you just follow up with the location and then the publisher's name. So it's very important that when you are documenting either a chapter of a book or a reference book, that you indicate either the author's name. If the author's name does not exist, then you begin your citation with the title of the chapter or the title of the work. For more information, you can go to section 7.02 in your APA manual. When creating your citations for a journal article, the general template is to begin with the author's name, the date of publication, the title of the article, followed by the title of the journal and volume number, issue number, and page numbers. In this case, the title of the journal and the volume numbers must be italicized, but do not italicize the issue number and the page number. It's only the title of the journal and the volume number. If you notice in the example below the general template box, a look at student perceptions of citation styles, Journal of Teacher Education is italicized as well as the number 33, which is the volume number, but the issue number, number 2, is not italicized. You will then follow up with the page numbers, and then in this case there exists a DOI, or a digital object identifier number. I had mentioned this in an earlier slide, and what it actually is, it's a number assigned by the publisher of this journal when an article is published electronically. Oftentimes you'll come across the DOI whenever you're doing a search in a research database. It's very common to find the DOI. If you happen to find a citation and the DOI does not exist, we will show you later on in other slides how to cite this particular citation that doesn't have a DOI. But just remember, the general template is when you're citing a journal article, make sure the title of the journal and the volume number are italicized. And for more information, you can go to section 6.31 or pages 187 to 192 for more assistance on how to cite a journal article. When citing a journal article that has been retrieved from a subscription database such as CINAHL or Education Full Text or ABI-Inform, if you cannot find the DOI or digital object identifier number, APA says that you should use the publication's website. Oftentimes your professor may give you the option to list the database title and the database website or the vendor, but the correct way is to use the publisher's information or the information from the website. If you look at the first example, APA Bootcamp or Novel Approach, this article came from the Journal of Teaching and Learning. Sage Publications is the actual publisher of this journal, and so you would just list the publisher's website. In the second case, the article is Information Literacy for Distance Students. This article came from the Journal of Library Administration. In this case, the publication is from a association or an organization website, and you would just list that as the retrieval source. So whenever you can't find the DOI, you're either going to list the publisher's information or the publisher website, or you will list the organization or association's website. But if your professor allows you to list the database name or the vendor such as EBSCO or Gale, then that's okay as well. But the correct way for APA is to list the publisher or the association or organization's website. And for more information, just go to section 7.01 and section 6.32. Oftentimes you may come across a journal article that does not have a DOI. Sometimes it may be an article that you find online and not necessarily from a subscription database. In this case, what APA says is that you just follow up with the website of that particular article. And so if you see in the example, in this case, the Attractions of Stupidity, the publication is the St. Croix E-Review. And so you just italicize the title of the publication, the volume number, which is 30, and follow the same format to include the issue number and the page numbers. And then you just follow up with the retrieval website information where anyone looking at your citation can find the article. Another thing to note is that there are several articles out there where you will find 10, 11, 12 authors that have contributed to this publication. What APA says is that instead of typing all of the authors' names, you type the first 6 names that have been listed in the article, followed by an ellipses. And the ellipses are the 3 dots, dot, 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 and then you list the last name of the author in that list. So in other words, if you have an article that has 10 authors, you type out the first 6, followed by then ellipses, and then you'll skip authors 7, 8, and 9 and type the name of the 10th author. So you type the first 6, dot, 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 and then you type the author's, the last name of the author in that list. And so instead of taking your time to type out all of the authors' names, APA allows you to use the ellipses to substitute for a number of the authors in the reference citation. And for more information, just go to section 7.01 or page 199, number 2 for another example. When citing a print government document, the correct format is to include the author's name, the year of publication, the title of the work, which is italicized, and then the report number followed by the location and publisher's name. If you look at the example, the author in this case is the National Institute of Mental Health. The title of the work is Clinical Training in Serious Mental Illness, and if you notice, it's italicized, followed by the report number. All government documents will have a publication or a report number assigned to it. And then you follow by the location of publisher, Washington, D.C., and the U.S. Government Printing Office. Most government documents are now available online, but this is available to you just in case you come across a print source that is either not available online or you can only find it in print. And for more information, you can follow up with section 7.03, page 205, number 31. When citing an online government document, this slide provides two ways of doing so. In the first example, the particular government document has a specific author. And so you'll begin with the author's name, Marishak, published April 22nd, 2008. Title of the source is HIV in Prisons, 2006 Statistical Tables, followed by the report number, and it was retrieved from the Bureau of Justice Statistics, and then you follow up with the website. In the second example, there isn't a specific author, however, there is a corporate author. The Bureau of Justice Statistics is the actual author of this publication, and so in this case, they become the author, followed by the rest of the citation, and then you just follow up with the website. In the first case, where there is a specific author, L. Marishak, the Bureau of Justice Statistics becomes a part of the retrieval address. And so you'll notice it'll say retrieved from Bureau of Justice Statistics when there is a specific author. If there is a corporate author or a department or association author, then that organization becomes the author, and you no longer need to include that as part of the retrieval address. And so for more information on this particular way of citing government documents, you can go to section 7.03, page 205, number 31.